What is up guys, Sub-Zero Nero here, and welcome to this video. Now first of all, I'd like to thank all the people who've been subscribing to my channel. We've hit 1,000 subscribers, which is just beyond my imagination, so I really thank you for that. Now, the gameplay you're seeing at the background is Watch Dogs Gang Hideout, and it doesn't really have anything to do with what we're talking about. It's just there for you to see. Now, let's get to our topic for today, and whether games should be realistic or not, or do they even need to be realistic. Now, let's get to the benefits of a realistic game. One of the benefits of a realistic game is that it needs to have good graphics, or it's got good graphics. And graphics make the gameplay more authentic and engaging to play. Therefore, it's fun to play. Now, you won't go back to a game like PS2 or PS1 and say, oh, look, that's got good graphics, I'm going to play it now. Because when you look at it and you say, oh, that looks terrible compared to what we've got now. And that's why graphics is quite an important thing in nowadays. Also, realistic games, let's just say, it gives you a realistic point of view. For example, in shooter games like Call of Duty and Battlefield, they give you a realistic point of view of war. Therefore, it's quite a fun thing to play. Now, in my opinion, a game shouldn't be too realistic, because the reason why we play games is that so we can have experiences that we won't have in the real world. And nowadays we're getting to the point where we got VR, virtual reality headsets like Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus. Now, yes, these will enhance the gameplay by quite a lot. For example, if you're playing Battlefield with a virtual reality headset, that will make the game quite amazing, really. Now, also, if you imagine that you're in a fantasy land and that you can cast magic with your hands and you can see the magic in the VR, that is so much more cooler, because that will never happen. Yeah, I think everybody wanted to be a wizard at one point in their life or cast some magic. So that's what VR headset will be good for, is that we're going to do things that we might not do in real life. I'm repeating that quite a lot, but still, that's the whole point of a video game, is that you're not going to do these things. So, do games need to be realistic? Not to a certain point. They can go somewhere where it is realistic and that it has some other fantasy things inside, where there is a dragon and that you have to slay it by using your guns or something like that. That's quite fun, because it has a realistic thing of a gun and a fantasy thing of a dragon. So today, realism in games is quite important. However, some successful games like DayZ, that has zombies in it, and that you have to survive in the environment where there is people, and that you have to go and find food and everything, which is somehow realistic, and that makes the gameplay more fun for some people, because it makes them imagine what will happen if there was a zombie apocalypse, and how would I survive in this harsh environment. That's where realism comes in as well, so that because we're humans and we need food and everything, so you can put that in a game, but you can also put in something like a zombie in there. Therefore, these dangers will make people be scared of things, even in real life as well. What happens if these things happen? That's why games are a really good thing. Movies do that in some ways, but not as extreme as games, because people are interacting in the game, and it almost like they're living in that environment, and that's why that's why realism is quite important in some games. Also, there are other games that have gone completely fantasy, like Skyrim. That is a really, really amazing game as well, where it has dragons and swords and medieval time things, but you can also cast magic and everything. That's why some games do not need realism. However, there are some small touches in games where it makes it a bit more realistic. For example, if you go into the water, your suit gets wet, and that's a small touch, but it makes it really, really amazing, and it adds that bit of realism to it. So, should games be realistic? No, not to a certain point. No, they don't really need to be realistic, because people would still enjoy them. Thank you, everyone.